Welcome to this edition of Collecting Small Diecast Land Rovers, and in this one we're going to continue our mini-series where we take a look at the Carorama 143rd Series 3 Land Rovers. So why don't you join us? First off, we're going to be taking a look at these two AA Services Land Rovers. Now, this livery we've seen before because this livery was issued in the 1/72nd scale models that we've seen in previous videos. I did say when we looked at the fire and rescue Land Rovers that not all liveries had been carried over from the 1/72nd to the 143rd. But this one has, and so far we've only got two versions of it. Oxford saw fit to re-release the Carorama 1/72nd version of this not too long ago. Admittedly, it was in a slightly different yellow, and they'd chosen that livery because obviously AA is always going to be popular. For those of you outside the UK, it's the Automobile Association, which is an organisation that will come out to if you're broken down anywhere in the country. So these have been going for years, ever since motoring was invented, really, and so there's been hundreds of models produced over the years, so there is a big following for collecting these vehicles. Their main rival in the UK is the Royal Automobile Club in their striking blue livery, and we're going to be taking a look at that a bit later on in the series. But yeah, big followings for both of these. I mentioned in a previous video that I'd ordered some models from Russia, and this was before Russia and the Ukraine conflict started, and I didn't feel really inclined to do videos on them just yet, but, you know, given the atmosphere surrounding the whole affair. However, what attracted me to the models was they're in liveries we've not seen released in the UK. So Carorama's probably, as it's been released by Oxford now, they're going to start and do some new liveries, and it would be really nice, because at the end of the day these are really nice models at a cheap price. But we'll show you these two. Hopefully there will be a third version coming along sometime in the future to add to the lineup. But if you watch the fire and rescue one, you will know that the 4 mirrored version was the first one to come out, and it is actually the most detailed. So we'll show you around that. So let's just move this one out of the way while I reach around the lighting rig and camera. A pretty standard livery to these. Obviously these were in the day before all the amber beacons were fitted to protect the scene and etc., and to give vehicles coming upon the broken down vehicle and this vehicle some warning that they were there. So they had to rely on the high-vis stripe down the side and just hope for the best. But yeah, the models feature opening doors, which can be a bit tricky to open. There we are. But they don't open very far. So I mentioned that last time, that you've got to be careful, don't force it. Coming around the back, these carry the GPX registration and feature a clear window. That is one of the cost-cutting things we did find on the 1/72nd, where they just reverted to painting this and did away with having a clear window. So it's fingers crossed they don't decide to do the same with these when they bring them out. Also on these, we've got the nicely defined wheels. It seems to have remained standard throughout on these. They haven't gone to the very crude wheels. Detail around the front is nicely done, and also the early versions of these do feature the posable steering, so there's no changes there. So as we mentioned last time, screws in them, so they're just crying out for a bit of code 3 work. Dismantle it, do some extra detailing, possibly even put equipment in the back. That would make for a superb model. One thing I didn't mention on the fire and rescues was, if you look carefully, we'll set it down so my hands don't shake, and if the camera will allow it, you even get a depiction of the interior mirror, so which is there. It's so you can look out the back when you're driving along. So if the 4 mirrors aren't enough internally, you've even got an externally, you've even got an interior mirror to drive by. So all in all, these are really nice, nicely done. They look good on your shelf. And as you can see there, printing is super crisp, as is the detail of the bright work around the back. So that's the 4 mirror version. Then we come to the 2 mirror. So we'll just pull out a bit for you. There we are. Get this one out of the way. Pretty much the same model. I've had a really good look around. I can't see any differences other than the fact they've done away with the 2 wing mirrors. But everything else is pretty much the same registration. And wheels. And we've retained the steering, etc. on the bottom. So pretty nice. I'm surprised this one didn't come with the option of a trailer. It would have made a nice combination. They could have made a trailer and fitted it to both this AA version and the RAC version, because if a vehicle's broken down, it can't be repaired on site. They could have trailered it in to garage facilities somewhere. So I think they missed an opportunity there, but never mind. Right, so the AA Series 3 Land Rovers, and I'm sure they'll be popular with anybody who saves AA vehicles. Right, we'll just set up with something else for you to take a look at, and we'll be back in a second. Next up we have the Postbus liveried Series 3. Now we've seen this before. Another one that's also been produced in the 1/72 scale. The only difference is with the smaller models, there was an edition of this with just the word post, and then the later ones had Postbus on them. I've not seen that version depicted in the 1/43. It's possible there is one out there, but certainly I've not seen one. I've done a lot of looking on the internet and searches of images of these models, and nothing's turned up with just post. It'd be nice to think that one was produced, or some were produced, but Postbus was a scheme where that the General Post Office in very rural areas had these vehicles running around delivering mail, and it seemed a good idea to get some extra revenue by offering a bit of a bus service to passengers who pre-booked We're talking really out of the way places, you know, where there isn't a public bus service or taxis are far and few between. So out in the sticks where you need a Land Rover, and they could offer a lift into town for people, or a lift around if they needed it, just to earn some extra revenue, because once the small number of mail was delivered in the area, quite often these would probably be parked up, waiting the next delivery of mail to come through. So it was a scheme. I can't imagine they were all that comfortable in these vehicles, but certainly some of the Defenders, the station wagon ones, they were put over to this use, so been a bit more comfortable for them, because at the end of the day these are soft tops and a bit windy in the out in the wilds. Right, so exactly the same as we've seen before. 2 models produced. Not seen a re-release of this from Oxford as of yet. Another one that I would have thought that they would have done, or might get round to doing in the not too distant future. So you've got the basic 4-wing mirror version, or the 4-mirror version. As I keep calling them wing mirrors, and I'm sorry if I've confused people, but they just get referred to as wing mirrors. But there's actually door mirrors and wing mirrors. It follows exactly the same lines as the previous model. There's nothing different about it. Opening doors, clear rear. Number plate is the GPX X type, and also features steering. So there's nothing changed. They've just produced these to a format, but quite nice livery, well produced. You got the wording Postbus. I think it's Royal Mail on this. I will zoom in because I can't see with my eyesight, but on your screens it'll be a lot easier to see. I think that, yes, that's Royal Mail. So really nice looking vehicle. And then the second one is the same vehicle but minus the wing mirrors. So I wonder if Oxford got around to re-releasing this as a modern version with no steering, etc., if the red will change, because we noticed that on the fire and rescue vehicles in part 1 of this series, the red was a different red, being a lot lighter and brighter. But again, we've got the interior rear view mirror for the driver. Vent panels don't change on these, not that I've seen. So but we're only just starting in this series, and as we found with the smaller cousins of these, the more you went into them, more you notice subtle changes that have made over the years. But I haven't seen any evidence of that on these. So 2 nice little post office vehicles, or Royal Mail vehicles. Again, many models being produced, many models. So if that's your theme, you collect Royal Mail vehicles, there's a lot to go at, and you can get yourself a really nice collection without having to stray too far from the scales. There's quite a few being produced in 1/43. I think Oxford have got some in their Oxford Diecast range, and Corgi, and everybody's had a go at these, I think. So you can get yourself a nice little collection. Right, we'll just set up to finish and Be back in a sec. Right, main sources of these are really eBay or your auction sites. Prices you could expect to pay ranging from £3, £4, £5 up to, well, some of them can be asking £15 for them. So bide your time, like I always say, and you're bound to get one to suit your pocket. Boxing, they tend to come in the old Carorama boxes. We've seen them before. I can show you one here. That's the type to expect, usually in them. But they do seem to change depending on what market they're in, so it isn't always guaranteed to be in one of them. You can often pick these up in the 3-packs that Carorama released, where you get 3 different vehicles in a somewhat bigger box. Do expect to pay a bit more for them. They're about £20, £24, but you do get 3 models. That's about it for this one. If you're going out, stay safe and enjoy the swap meets that are starting up again, and get yourself to your model shops and just see what's out there. So we'll see you again next week. So until then, happy collecting.